that intro gets me jazzed every time. Every time Drew McIntyre points, says, "Yeah, me too. I love you too.
Yeah.
I love you too." Anyway, man,
that's exactly what we're trying to say.
Everybody, hello, welcome to a Dynamite celebrating Kaboom. PWI scrutinizing. Eric Bugenhagen saluting. We're not calling him the Boog Screws. He's the Bugenhagen flogging. We're gonna do some WWE draft breakdowning. Breaking downing. Who knows? Breakdown.
Breakdowning.
Down breaking. It's gonna be a groundbreaking episode of the Brothers of Discussion. We're gonna talk everything, as I mentioned, from those PWI top ladies, all the WWE drafts ins and outs and everything in between. And of course, as we do every week, Matt, we decide a objective winner. It's not subjective. It's an objective winner in the weekly Wednesday Night Wars. Matt, it's been a hell of a day. My computer that I used to record, the cat barfed all over it.
Fabulous.
Yeah, I thought that was a career highlight. But this morning, he made a cat fart that sounded like something a human mouth would make. I'm not exaggerating. When I was doing my work and roaring out of the laundry room came the following sound effect.
Can I guess? Can I do a couple of...
Run a couple by and I'll let you know which one was closest. Here we go.
All right. Here, first one would have to be, right? Just classic. Pretty close?
How many you got?
All right. We also have the... There's the old... And... well, there's the quick one. There's always the...
It was... To be honest, I think the closest was actually your first guess, because it sounded like...
Classic.
Like that kind of cartoon. Like, remember that little jar of slime that you could put your hand in and it would make a fart sound?
Yeah.
That's what a cat... That's what my cat made out of his little cat anus. He made that today. We had so many updates on my computer. Don't ever turn your computer off, because when you try to turn it back on, it's going to want to update. I don't know what updated. Everything looks identically awful. So here we are. Matt, how are things in the Casa de Addy? Are you covered in cat barf? Are you also enjoying mineral-soaked well water at your house?
No, but Mike, have you ever had the misfortune of having to dig your own cat's claw out of her tail?
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I will be digging a cat grave pretty soon. I'm sure.
Your face. Your face was exactly... I walked upstairs to a cat rolling out in a ball, trying to detach herself from her own tail. It was heartbreaking, first of all, because she was trying so hard and she couldn't do it. And the way she had herself, her front paw was between her back legs. But we're also on day number 2 in a row that she did this, so we finally cut the claws down. I almost said ripped her. Yeah, we were at home ripping her claws.
Took her tail. I thought you were going to say took her tail out.
Won't be getting
right stuck in that anymore.
We can't bring ourselves to declaw her, but she got him clipped down pretty short today. But goddamn, poor kitty cat. I just 2 days in a row too, and the noises she makes just awful. So now that. We let everybody know what's going on, kitty-wise.
Weekly cat talk here at the Brothers of Discussion.
I think it's just about time that we have our first conversation, Mike, about our brand new website.
Before we do, this was delicious Yates cider. Compliments to Yates Cider Mill, Michigan. With a little bit of cinnamon whiskey, but I've had a heck of a day, so I'm going to add a little refill here. Whoopsie, here we go. All right,
I've got ye old Screwball peanut butter whiskey. The motivation here is emptying the fridge. Not necessarily. It's definitely not sticking around. Like, this isn't one I'm going to refill. This is. I'm a Woodford Reserve kind of guy, and I can't do this.
I gotta say, there's something like, even with this, it's fine, but There's just something about a little Woodford and a little hot cider with just a little sprinkle of cinnamon on top. That's a good beverage. Matt, where can the beautiful people find everything Brothers of Discussion?
Well, I wanted to show everybody bodpodcast.com today. We're going to take a quick tour, and I just want to show everybody. You can click on pro wrestling and take a look at everything we've got going on. The blogs are continuing to pop out. You have all the links here if you need to find us somewhere special. You've got the YouTube page.
Yeah, there's my fat face.
Yeah, there you are. Right there. There's me.
There's old Fat Cheeks himself.
I'm about to make a great point, as you can see. You've got that Twitter and the Instagram. Everything Brothers of Discussion is right here. But most importantly, Mike, you can see me highlighting it, we now have a shop page. And if you are a longtime fan of the Brothers of Discussion, you want to head over here. You can, Mike, can you see it? Can you see this? You can now become a sister of Discussion. It says, I am a sister of Discussion. We've got the ladies, Brothers of Discussion tee. Obviously, what you can see here are the last two things I made were these two of the last three things I made. So I'm a bad boy. But everything's unisex here. I just kind of went through everything, and I'm
digging that mask. I'm digging that mask.
Isn't this pretty sweet? Look at this.
I want to go. I know I'm doing an absentee ballot, but I really want to go vote wearing one of those bad boys.
Yeah, get in there. Let everybody know to keep socially distant, but also this is my favorite podcast.
Discuss safely.
So yeah, you can find all this if you go to bodpodcast.com, and if I back up back to this homepage, there was the pro wrestling link. Obviously, our other podcast, Red Wings Rant, along with our blogs and videos are available there. But you could just go right to that bodpodcast.com and click on the shop, and it takes you to the same spot. Same spot that we're going to be adding to this page, Mike. I'm thinking of sending out a poll to see what everybody else would like to see.
They want a little.
I'm kind of thinking
Brothers of Discussion ale. Yeah.
Ooh. Actually, I was just thinking different T-shirt taglines. I was thinking hot tag.
Oh yeah. How about
maybe
human mouth fart?
Human mouth fart. Yeah, that's that actually would just be a regular old graphic tee.
How about
sell pretty well?
Don't be a diddly dick. I was hoping to catch you when you were taking a sip, and I missed. All right, Matt, are you ready to get into some wrestling talk? It's been a hell of a week. Let's do it. Well. We had the draft this week, and
well, real quick, we've got some comments. Stephanie, I'm glad you're here. I see your comment. We're gonna get into it later, so I'm gonna hold off on the Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton conversation. Amy is a Woodford Reserve kind of girl.
Hey!
High five, Amy! Boom.
Yeah.
That is a whiskey to refill, and Amy's also letting us know she's a sister of Discussion. All my friends and family are getting POD Christmas presents. Yeah!
Woo! Yeah. I hope that, we can figure out this COVID sitch, and then we can all just go to the Royal Rumble together again, because that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's been fun checking the old email. And
maybe in 2025 or something. I don't know. Matt, this was it was a draft. There were people picked. They're trying to kind of stir the pot a little bit, right? Give us some fresh feuds to think about, right? Some people in a little different scenery here. Rollins is no longer Monday Night Rollins. Now he's Friday Night Rollins, and AJ Styles, the house that he didn't build, but he could see it, from his house in Alaska. So they switched spots. But Matt, I think what we need to talk about are the big moves. They broke up the New Day. There's a lot of sour grapes out there, a lot of salt, a lot of angry cabbages out there, if you will.
They sold it pretty well. That whole Say E's name. That was heartbreaking. That
Say E's name. And, Matt, hot tag here. Is this a good move for WWE's Big E? Is this a good move for his career?
I think absolutely.
All right. Now, you heard it here first. Moving on. No, what do you got, Matt?
He's not necessarily gone from the New Day. All they did was put them on separate shows. They've even gone as far to be on the SmackDown and Raw talk shows and said as much. They said we're not breaking up. I think this is just a great way to let that, let's put it on the back burner. We can have them all reunite some other day. But this is great for Big E. This is Big E's chance. Like, now we don't, like, it's good. We're done. We just, for now, Big E can go off on his own and do his Big E thing. And I think it was important for him to not have anything holding them back. You didn't need another New Day storyline. You didn't need them. Like, it looks as though it's very important for the New Day to hold the tag titles. And I just, now that they have them, it is one of those things where they immediately made these titles, like, they put them on another level. And that's one of those situations where the wrestler is going to make the title as opposed to, the other way around, which you and I are not huge fans of. Give the New Day the tag titles. You can let them go off and fight. Kofi and Xavier can have fun with those. But now whatever happens with them, if they get into any trouble, they don't have to worry about needing Big E there. They don't need to worry about Big E's main event issues getting mixed in with the tag titles. And just this week after week of, well, let's have whoever's feuding with the tag champs and whoever Big E's feuding with do a 3-on-3 match, and then we have to watch that for the next month. Like, now that's gone. Now Big E can just do Big E things. I think this really was the best way to go, to just make it. This told us too, for the fans, that Big E is a priority. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I'll say they have two things they have to do, and it will kind of remind you of what they had to do with the Shield. Essentially, Big E, he needs to distance himself from the New Day, but not too much. And I guess with the character that he's already built, he's this kind of tongue-in-cheek. He says a lot of kind of under the radar innuendo jokes. I don't know how they get by. I know that was him behind stopping a glory hole in somebody. I know that was him with the blind unicorn, which, if you don't know what that is, fire up the Urban Dictionary and you're welcome. Do not look up pictures of that. Just look up the word definition. But I guess what I'm trying to get at is he should not have the New Day music. He should not have the New Day singlet. I think this is an opportunity for him to just kind of get a little bit of a haircut, a little bit different airbrush style on the old singlet there. Maybe even pull a Roman Reigns, go bare-chested up top. But yeah, I think he can definitely keep as a character. I think he can keep his natural Big E-ness, but just, tweak the visual, tweak the aesthetic, tweak the sound. I would want to associate him with a new sound, a new, a little new music there. But the problem with that is we've seen some of the new music that's come out recently. I don't know how people are. I know we're not big fans of Keith Lee's music. I don't know if there's a lot of fans of Aleister Black's new music.
I have a suggestion.
What do you got?
What if we did? Now, I don't want it as bad as this, but what if we did like an X-Pac style like remix of the New Day? Where it was the DX song, but it was X-Pac.
Gonna flippity flappy bomb. I keep it rocking the bottom line. X-Pac trying to suck it like a ducky bucket. Yeah. I think one important thing I think could really help Big E differentiate. I think if the magic of him is that he has that, when he comes out, he does that, oh, and everybody gets out of their seat. It's literally a sound effect. It's not even the English language. I would definitely let him kind of R-truth it and kind of do whatever he wants with his entrance music. Like, if he wants to rap, if he wants to sing, if he wants to play a little Kurt Angle ukulele, whatever his, creative mind and little heart desires, I hope they let him do it. Outside of that, we got to let it marinate a little bit. I know emotionally they don't want us to totally turn the page on his New Day connection. It's been freaking, half a decade? But yeah.
Sorry, I was ready to share it. I got the...
What do you got for us?
Can you hear that?
No.
No? Oh, shit.
It wasn't Bailey, was it?
No, it's the X-Pac theme. It's
Oh,
I
yeah, we
fucked it
don't need
up.
to hear that again.
All right.
The other big draft picks, I'd say, I loved Alexa and the Fiend both going to Monday Night Raw. I don't want to. Yeah, it's just like when the Fiend debuted, where it's like I just want every segment to include the Fiend, but I also kind of want to let it marinate. Like I love having just a little taste of paradise, and then let me think about it for a week or so.
Right.
I love this Harley Quinn Joker thing that they have going on. It's just one of those things where we get so critical of this company, Matt, and this is a spot where they're really hitting a home run because I love these segments. I want more of them. And now that they're on the 3-hour extravaganza that takes place every Monday, they're going to have opportunities to have maybe, a +1 segment, maybe open a show and close a show. So I'm pretty pumped to see that.
Yeah, I had my top 5 things I wanted to come out of this draft, and mostly because I was going to tease what we'll have coming out later for the website. But
yeah,
I would say going back to that Big E conversation, I had 2 of my 5 things wrapped into the whole Big E thing. So it's Big E winning a championship, and then the New Day and Hurt Business confrontation that I'm eagerly awaiting, which I think is going to be that opportunity for the Hurt Business to take some tag gold. But then you've also got Drew McIntyre feuds with the Fiend, AJ, and Elias. That I'd say if you gotta say the things you're excited about, those are the easy ones to grab onto, right? And there's the number 1 and number 2. I think I'll just hold on to, and then you guys gotta tune in. All right, Mike, do you want to jump into the 1 year of Dynamite? I think was the order you said you wanted to go.
Yeah, let's do it. They had the big celebration. They kind of we've talked about how now. It feels like WWE and AEW are trying to find some kind of hollow event to celebrate every single week.
Yep.
Whether it's the 30 nights of 30 years of Jericho, or now we're doing a draft. This was a real thing. This was the anniversary of Dynamite. It's been a heck of a ride. I don't know if we thought it would be quite at the peak that it's at right now. I know a lot of people are skeptical, and it'll just be another Impact. It'll be another TNA, and it's not. I think it really is, above those other ones at their ultimate peaks. And these are promotions that could have, advertised AJ Styles and Samoa Joe in their main events. And I think AEW has easily eclipsed that. And I know you wanted to kind of pose, like some likes and dislikes. For sure, the likes. As much as I talk about being a wrestling program, this is one of the more entertaining wrestling shows I could think of. Whether now it's, kind of looking at, somebody like Eddie Kingston doing segments, promos, getting behind the announcer desk. Whether or not it's Jericho and MJF arguing at each other. Just honestly, promoting the certain people that they're promoting, for entertainment value, whether it's Jurassic Express, it's Marco Stunt, all 4'11" of them. It's a guy in a dinosaur mask. The way this company finds a way to promote somebody like Orange Cassidy, who I don't know if he ever would have really gotten a TV shot if it wasn't for something like, Tony Khan taking a little bit of a risk on, young bucks and an old Chris Jericho, and it's that kind of stuff that I like. Some of the creative risks that they've taken, and for the most part, have paid off. What would you say are some of your likes for AEW so far, 1 year in?
I would say how much it's paid off to really rely on a guy like Cody Rhodes. Putting him in the spotlight that he has is not a negative for this brand at all. He really is the Cody Rhodes he always said he could be when he was in WWE, and everything he's done on the indie scene, and now it's one thing, and there's folks that can trash me because, man, you take a look behind me. Or I guess I haven't done too much to show off what else is in here, but I have like X-Men shrines and stuff around this room. I have all of my heavy metal bands. Like, how do you have time for so many different things you like? Well, the one way that we know to put things on a pedestal that it's worthwhile is when it's on a channel like TNT. So I know that Cody, and we've watched it on YouTube, but it's not anything that I've made the time for, is to watch a lot of independent wrestling that goes, that streams live on YouTube. You know what I mean? I mean, so that's where I'm coming from. But the idea that Cody is relied upon to push a show on TNT, I think, is one of the absolute greatest things to come out of this, is to see a guy come out and be such a superstar, be such an entrepreneur, and really show off that he learned a lot from his dad. And I mean, there's probably a lot of hardcore pro wrestling fans that have been around for decades that would say this is blasphemy, but I think Cody might be a step above his dad. And I think everything he's done with AEW is proof of that. And I think Dusty would probably agree with me if y'all want to step in and throw up your dukes. But I mean, there's so much to like about this. I think you and I, like, the entertainment thing is still my number one. I'm trying to think of something else, so that's where the Cody stuff comes from. I remember the first pay-per-view that we got to watch from AEW made me remember what it felt like to watch pro wrestling as a kid. Like, I got excited again, and that was so great. Right. I loved being excited to watch a pro wrestling show, and it wasn't just excitement like leading up to the event. That's something that I think WWE still nails to this day. But I mean, it's excitement in the middle of the match, when you're getting closer to the end of the match, and then you look at the card, you go, oh shit, the next match is going to be just as great. That is very hard to do, and something I think the WWE struggles with when their shows reach 3.5, 4, 5, 6 hours. Not something I'm excited to do for 5 or 6 hours. And not that AEW hasn't had that timing issue. I would like to see for both of these shows that let's tighten it up. Can't all have 6-star matches, let's tighten it up. Let's tell some stories in 5 minutes. That's how you write that's how you do a good show. I probably, again, blasphemy here. Again, maybe not a true pro wrestling fan asking for some 5-minute wrestling matches, but goddamn, you need to have your main event. And I sound like Vince McMahon right now, but you need to have your main event, and you've got to have the matches lead up to it. You can't have 6 45-minute matches. And AEW's done a good job of that. And I'm not saying that they've done a bad job. I think now I'm just defending my own theories of pro wrestling. But Mike, go ahead. Take it away.
Yeah. What's funny, just to touch on Cody real quick, is as much as you talk about him being his dad, I think he really, and we're, Andre and I were kind of talking about it a little bit yesterday. He's definitely borrowed a lot from Triple H. I'd say he's closer to Triple H in like a booking and wrestling philosophy than his dad.
You think Triple H is his dad?
I think Triple H is his dad. No. We were kind of talking about it tongue in cheek because, now he has the over the top entrance. He has like easily one of the cooler songs in the whole company. Just like Triple H. I guess I'll give myself Motorhead. You guys can all have CFO $. What? Oh, come on, man. How come I don't get Motorhead?
Right.
You know what? I'm gonna have 2 Motorhead songs. What? 2 Motorhead songs? What the? Come on, man. Yeah. I mean, as far as like trying to get the young guys over, using the older guys to really prop up these younger guys, and maybe the biggest sin of Triple H booking is we haven't quite seen those younger talents win the championships. I'm looking at you, MJF. I'm looking at you, Cassidy. I'm looking at you, Jungle Express. Maybe winning a tag title, something like that. But they're in there, and I think they're really trying to kind of even out this seesaw where they're trying to keep people to be like, hey, Jericho, so tune in. But we can't have Jericho just, lose every match because then he loses all his credibility and then we don't have a guy to like prop up the young guys. So we're going to have him be champion for a while, but then he's going to kind of beat the younger guys that you guys like. But because the younger guys are in a match with Jericho, that kind of makes them relevant. So it's a tough kind of juggling act there. But I think, maybe another year or so, we can, start to see these young guys. Forgot to throw Darby Allin in there too, who's also been killing it. Throw those guys, throw some straps on them. So maybe that brings us to the next point of the annual discussion, Matt. Some of the dislikes. Ooh. So you can kind of rope this in with something else. What you might have done differently with one of your dislikes there.
Well, the easy one is the women's division.
Women.
And I think what's hard to figure out what is the real problem here is did they not spend enough money on talent? Did they not offer enough? Was the priority on one side of the roster, not the other? Because it's obvious that they had some pretty good looking matches at the start, and a lot of those ladies just didn't keep rolling on with the company. There's also just the issue of building up these characters to be more interesting than just the initial hello, and then asking them to sell everything else online. Because Mike, I'm going to be honest. I will catch whatever's going on with, being elite if it's really good, because then it pops up on my timeline. Like, that's the only time I ever see it. So building characters through that, it's not going to work for me. I'm tuning in on TNT. I'm watching the replays. And, if it's something that you're requiring to write like 3-4 hours of content to get some of these characters over, then you've got to reorganize whatever you've got going on. You've got to set your priorities. Like, do you want women's wrestling to be a highlight of this, or is it something you're okay with just being, whatever?
No, you're hitting it right on the head. Like, what they're essentially, their stance right now is the onus is on you as the fan. If you want to watch women's wrestling, turn on YouTube. That's what they're telling you. Go to heels.com. And if you're going to be a company that says you give a hoot about it, you got to put them on TV. I shouldn't have to turn on a championship match between Hikaru Shida and Big Swole, and like there's no vignettes, there's no promos. It's just, well, this week, we did the musical chairs and Big Swole's getting a shot.
Mm-hmm.
Those matches mean nothing. They'll never main event because they don't. There's no story. There's no rooting interest for you as a fan. And I mean, even something as small as, let's say Cody and Orange, fought for the TNT championship. We still had Cody and Orange the week before give each other like a thumbs off, like a thumbs up, thumbs off. So you're like, okay, yeah. And, they made comment about, Orange never locks up and Cody's going to make him lock up, because he's, the King of Sloth style. So there's already like these little tweaks that you can kind of watch out for in the match. And so Cody was trying to goad, and this is kind of getting into our little Wednesday Night Wars discussion, but trying to goad him into locking up and acting like a real wrestler. That doesn't exist for the women's division. So I think you're right on the money there.
There was something, actually, just to stick to this point, that I'm not a huge fan of, was it was Britt Baker tweeted, if you guys want AEW to support more women's wrestling, you have to tune into the show. And I think that's to the point of you saying they're telling us to tune into YouTube, but this idea that now they have Britt Baker saying you have to watch all of AEW Dynamite to let them know that you're the person who's watching it, and then they're going to see the data that so-and-so watched it, and they're the kind of person that would support women's wrestling, so now we're going to do more of it. I don't think that makes sense even a little bit. Like, I love and support women's wrestling, so I'm going to watch this show that's going to do one segment and not turn it off. That, if anything, will do the exact opposite. That will say that they're doing the right thing. People aren't tuning out. Look, the ratings are going up, and we're doing one women's match. No, I mean, it's just it's just not. It's not going to get fixed unless like we keep saying it, and that's why it's been a sticking point for so long. And Cody has been under fire with the media to try and fix it. And I think they'd be better off just saying, "Man, we have fucked it up royally. We could have done such a better job, and we did such a disservice to these ladies. We did a disservice to the entire idea of women's wrestling by saying this is a new show." And we're going to only kind of highlight it. And also, we have JR here, who could give less of a fuck.
Right.
Who couldn't give less of a fuck.
No, it's another thing I was talking about with Andre. We were talking about the championship match, Hikaru and Big Swole. And JR made some comment about, well, these women are, look at them going. They're always looking to improve. And it's just,
yeah,
I don't need to hear about work rate and, let's just see if we can improve.
Talk about work rate.
I want to talk about meaty women slapping women, but that should not be the storyline of the match, is that these women are always trying to get better. It should be they're fighting tooth and nail to become the champion of an entire brand. And it's just not a priority right now. Storytelling for them is not a priority. The seriousness of it, not a priority. I would say to do one other thing that we can start to get away from, and it connects to, I love Jericho. He's still got it. He's still one of the, funniest guys on the mic. He can still wrestle, as MJF pointed out last night. Look at that body. He's still got abs. But at some point, we can start to get away from needing Tully Blanchard to come in and watch somebody. If I was at a wrestling con and Arn Anderson was there, absolutely I want a photo and a handshake. But I don't know if I need him, walking behind Cody like Andy Reid with a fake sheet of play calling. I don't even know what's on that sheet. A halfback draw, all streaks up the right sideline. I don't know what's on that sheet. It doesn't make any wrestling sense. But I don't think that these guys are going to need these old fogies for much longer. I would be fine to let them kind of stand on their own 2 feet, cut their own promos. And as much as I love Jake the Snake, as excellent as he was in the Peanut Butter Falcon, let me hear the Murder Hawk. Let me hear the Murder Hawk, kind of talk quietly into a microphone. That's what I want.
And Amy's right there with us, too, when we go back to the women's division. She refuses to be a part of AEW heels. To me, heels is worse than being an afterthought. It's almost like...
it's pretty condescending.
Right, exactly. We've got to move on, because we are going to bring up AEW later in the show to talk about the Wednesday Night Roll Wars.
Absolutely.
So Amy, we'll let your thought be the capper on this segment here. So let's talk, Mike. We're talking all of our problems with AEW wrestling is revolving around the women's division. So let's talk PWI's women's top 100, but we've only got the top 20 to talk about here today. What a great segue. Mike, number 1. And did you get a good chance to at least take a gander at this list? I know I actually didn't put the numbers on there, but you can kind of get the gist of where everybody lies. Bailey, number 1.
I hope they're in order.
They are. Yeah,
okay,
let me see if what can I do here? Can I change that? Nope, I can't. All right. Well, they're going to be dots. Just count them up, Mike. Just go 1, 2, 3. All right. Bailey 1. You got Becky Lynch, followed by Asuka, Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks, Hikaru Shida, Tessa Blanchard.
Rio.
That was a tough one. Yeah, Rio, Io. That's kind of cute. Mayu, Rhea Ripley, Jordan Grace, Shayna Baszler, Thunder Rosa. Pretty cool there. You get that jumping up the list. Kimberly, Nyla Rose, Taya Valkyrie, Kaylee Ray. Now that I might have her a little bit higher.
Coming to the ring, weighing in at 140 pounds, Kaylee Ray. Sorry,
I might have her a little bit higher. Yeah, I might have her a little bit higher on the list, considering what they take into consideration, holding a title.
Is that Nikki Cross coming in on the top 20?
Yeah.
Wow. I like it, but she was not Alexa Bliss level. That's just them saying, you know what, maybe she's better, maybe she's better than we've given her a chance for, which is true. But Alexa Bliss, if she's definitely going to be in the top 5 for next year's list, especially with her Bray Wyatt stuff. But
absolutely.
kind of looking at the top 5: Bayley, Becky, Asuka, Charlotte, Sasha. And if you want to kind of Hikaru, Tessa, Rio, Io, Mayu. I gotta say, I don't think there shouldn't be any debate that Asuka is number 1. It's not just about her holding titles. It's about her, like, literally speaking maybe 3 words of English and cutting some of the most interesting promos in all of WWE. And easily, inside WWE's women's division. It's the enthusiasm. It's the way that I'm so proud of. For once, WWE's like making us proud. They didn't make fun of, like some Jerry the King Lawler, awful xenophobic humor. They just let her speak. They just let her go out there, and we were all excited every time she took the mic. She would call matches in Japanese, and we would still just be glued to the TV. Which is nothing to say about her excellent ring work. Her matches are just flawless. Now they're going to put her in a title match against Lana, and it's not like Lana really deserves a title match, even though she has gone through 4 tables in 4 weeks, compliments of Nia Jax. But I think what they're going to, similar to what they just did with Selena Vega, they're going to let Asuka prop up one of these, women who are, a little bit more green and make them look somewhat competent. Asuka's just carrying the division. She's carrying a title. She's carrying large segments of television time by cutting promos, by dancing with Mandy Moore, dancing with Mandy. Dana Brooke, trying to make her relevant too. You just can't talk highly enough about her. And Bayley's been such a great heel, but Asuka, I think, has been number 1.
That's my thing. I'm okay with Bayley being number 1 because, Mike, Asuka has radar as being one of the top women in pro wrestling. And Bayley has never been far from it, but I think it's one of those things where we just talked about it last week with Leo. I was just listening to our episode last week with Leo DiCaprio. Sometimes politically winning an Academy Award, Bayley struggled to be a face. Like, we loved her because she was Bayley and because of what she did in NXT. I think did a great deal for women's wrestling, but the writing of her face character was always so bland and blah. But now that she's a heel, it has been so freaking amazing. And even if I agree with you that it is so much harder to do what Asuka's doing. If we go into next year, are the chances that Asuka's still going to be close to number 1 are still very good, but we could see a huge drop in Bayley. So it's one of those, like, throw her at the top right now, and then we'll come back later. And I'm sure Asuka's not at home like, fuck, I'm number 3. I'm so much better than Becky and Bayley. She's probably thrilled. So I'm going to say this Bayley pick makes sense. I'm not saying like there's too much politics going into these, because I think we all know the PWI is kind of silly at this point. There's probably more politicking behind the scenes in regards to making sure WWE people are at the top of the list than anything else. And we saw that with the PWI list for the, what is it? Top 500 is the
top 500.
Anyway,
yep.
But not, and that is to say that Bayley is absolutely Bayley, Asuka, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks. Those are the best women in women's wrestling. They are. Yeah. There's no debate. There's nobody even close to these ladies. And I mean, with that said, I do believe that those are the right top 5, no problem whatsoever. But I will say this was the year to put Bayley at number 1.
I'm gonna say two kind of fun points. One, I think that Asuka should definitely be the top women's wrestler. However, if we were just going to rank the top wrestlers, I would, for some reason in my brain, I would put Bayley at like top 5, like between men and women.
Oh, I mean, yeah. If we want to get into that conversation, that's a whole nother. Yeah, like.
But the other fun thing that it's just a thought that just kind of, sometimes a little thought will just kind of swim through your brain. I was thinking about Becky Lynch's speech where she's like, "You go be the champion. I'm going to go be a mom." And we all kind of just started tearing up and, oh, it's so beautiful. I would love for Becky to have her baby, start to come back to the ring. And then she, puts the brakes on that. And, she says she's going to back out. And I want her to pull like a Mark Henry. "Baby, I'm coming home." And then she just pulls a big swerve on us and acts like she's having a second baby. But then she just, DDTs somebody into the mat.
This would be the time for her to get, like, for any time that she would have a child at home and to make pro wrestling work. When every show is in the same building, you can just have a house nearby, have a babysitter just on Monday nights. This is perfect for a Becky return. I do want to throw out there, we've got a couple of them. Our favorite on Twitter, Neon Ghost 41, at Neon Ghost 41, also known as Venus Blue. I put Asuka at number 1 at everything, but if she isn't going to be, I think Bayley is good in that spot too. I would have had Asuka above Becky though, and she agrees with you, Mike, for every reason there. Andre's thrown out there. Lana's been paying for the sins of Miro, which is why she's become Nia Jax's personal attack dummy. So Andre, I mean, goddamn, fucking layup there, man. You fucking nailed it.
Yep.
Or maybe no, that's more of a dunk. I think if I call it a layup, it's more like a diss.
Yeah, our dad can do a layup.
Right.
I mean, let's do a dunk.
Yeah, Andre just dunked on Lana. There we go. Yeah. Me, not cool. All right. Andre also threw out there, I hope Bayley stays a heel for the rest of her career. It's highly unlikely that she'll stay a heel for a long time. But until she turns face again, I'll continue to enjoy her work as a baddie. No, I mean that's exactly where we're at, and Amy's right there too. She agrees with Andre's thought. I do think Bayley needs to stick around as a heel for a while. I think what's going to happen is we'll kind of, if there's ever going to be 4 horsewomen against the 4 horsewomen, I think that'll be that time where maybe they all turn face at the same time. But all of them seem to thrive as heels, except for Becky Lynch, who can do anything, which is kind of.
What's funny is I think you make a good point there. How everyone but Becky. But I was just gonna say with Bayley, selfishly, we all want her to be a heel, because we love the work she's doing. But also, kind of on Bayley's behalf, as lovable and talented as she was as a face, every time she took the mic, it kind of was that. Kind of that David Rose nervous energy where it kind of felt like she was gonna start shaking and like she just wanted the promo to be over.
Right. Now
it kind of feels like she looks forward to times that she gets to be on camera, when she gets to be on TV, when she gets to yell at Michael Cole. Matt, let's hear a drop.
Oh God.
We only got like 3 drops. Here's one of them.
All right, it's coming.
It's coming.
And it's Michael.
Beautiful. Shut up, Michael.
It's 3 drops and I fucked it up.
No, it's just good. I think it's really good for her benefit too. That's all I was trying to get at. Long story short there. So list is pretty strong. Not a lot you can really get too angry about. Really should be Bayley and Asuka up top. That's all. But Matt, I guess we can move on from this list. Stop, tooting the old PIW horn. We had some weird returns this week. Matt, Lars Sullivan's still employed. Who knew? Just a quick reminder here. Matt threw a little note on here.
Yeah, you like that? I said, reminder for anybody who's like, oh, Lars is back.
Hey, why do I hate that guy? Oh, right. Because he had all these weird misogynistic, racist, and anti-gay comments online. Oh, that was it. Okay.
This is the bullshit they're hoping for with Velveteen Dream, is that we're all just going to forget.
Let us forget. Yep. Yeah, I mean, if enough time goes by, maybe we'll forget. People don't forget. If we can quote Superbad. It's just weird that these were his thoughts after he's been in like gay pornography. You'd think he'd be a little more accepting of, different lifestyles. There's all sorts of different ways to make a buck, and sometimes it's to have a fuck. So Lars Sullivan is back, and he's got less of a caveman beard. He kind of trimmed it up a little bit. I don't know. I didn't need him back. I was just kind of not surprised, like, ooh, just kind of like, oh. Yeah. So maybe he'll feud with Velveteen Dream, and they'll have a both losers leave town match or something. I don't know.
We also had Jordan Devlin come back, which is a little bit happier. But
wait, can I say his name real quick? It's my favorite announcer.
Yeah.
Now coming to the ring, Jordan Devlin. All right. I'm okay. I had to get it out of my system. All right, go ahead.
Still some issues with Jordan too. He had I forget what the hashtag was, but when it was about ladies wrestlers being held down by different male wrestlers, whether or not they were being sexually harassed or taken advantage of or being blacklisted. So unfortunately, Jordan Devlin was also a part of that, but he was just off of TV because WWE saw that and said, well, he's over in Europe, so he can't make the trip for the Cruiserweight title. So again, they're playing the whole let's hope they forget. But he's hitting at a almost identical Sami Zayn Intercontinental title storyline where he said, oh, it's cute that you guys have that Cruiserweight title. I've still got the real one, holds up his title to his, whatever his Zoom call was. And then, I guess he's coming. Hopefully for the title. We don't want to know where else. All right. That was a bad joke. We also have a potential statement on Brock Lesnar ever returning with Paul Heyman being interviewed by some, UFC show or whatever, because God forbid there's wrestling radio. Right now, he's very happy being a farmer and a magnificent father to his children. And this is Paul Heyman talking about Brock Lesnar's return. However, if there's something that WWE can offer that intrigues, motivates, and inspires Lesnar, and if the money is right and the business is solid, I'm sure he would be willing to do it. Mike, this was breaking news. I brought this up because who gives a fuck? We do not. Who are we doing that bad? We have Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns as our champions right now. Why in God's name did this need to be breaking news for pro wrestlers? Now, again, this was on like a mixed martial arts show, so that's why that question's being asked. It should not be breaking news for all of pro wrestling media that Brock Lesnar might return if he gets paid. I get so angry at this kind of stuff, and I'm sad that I put it in our show notes because now our website will be tagged for this, and I should put on there who gives a fuck. I got to make sure I put that in the notes.
But honestly, there's a lot to juggle mentally for me. I think for you and I, the fear is, oh man, if he comes back, we know what he's gonna do. He's gonna bury Drew McIntyre. He's gonna bury the Fiend. Stuff like that. But I just Brock Lesnar is living the life we all want to live. Like if anybody dares say shit to you, you can fuck him up. He literally gets paid, to do one night of work. Who wouldn't want to do that? Who wouldn't want to get like $2 million to do like one match against the Undertaker and then like go milk a cow for 8 to 10 months? That's all he does. He's living a great life. It's just the pro wrestling fan that makes you a little bit nervous at the idea of his return. But yeah, we don't need him right now. And again, to kind of give Brock more credit, living the life we all want to live. The last thing he did was put over Drew McIntyre. What a beautiful gift he's bestowed upon us. We don't need an update on him. All I want to hear is, I just want to see him in his overalls and a long piece of grass, maybe chewing on his cud and, beating up people who dare to bring him his mail that day. That's all I want to see from him. I don't know if he's suplexing the UPS guy. I think it would be hilarious. Kind of one of those underground UFC fights with, beating up homeless people. I don't need to see the homeless beat up, but you kind of get where I'm going. Just kind of an underground fight club where he beats up guys who bring him his Amazon stuff. He just orders heavy things and makes fun of them when they can't carry it up the stairs. He takes it up the stairs and he suplexes him back into the truck. It's a long-winded thing, but that's what I want from Brock. I don't need him wrestling. I just want to see him living his life as a farmer. Good for him.
All right, Mike. Now we'd like to introduce a brand new segment today. I want to take everybody back.
Oh boy.
Take everybody back to February.
Make wrestling
5th.
Great again. Here we go.
Jesus Christ.
Oh,
February
we actually
5th.
are. I like this segment. Yeah, go ahead.
February 5th, 2019. Mike, the only other time we've seen this guy, besides his 2 straight weeks on NXT, is
2
when
magical weeks.
the only other time we've seen him is when he's bopping his head on NXT tapings and just going crazy for everybody's entrance. And then he's the guy that's banging the glass at the Performance Center. He loves pro wrestling. He loves what he's doing. If you follow him on Twitter, he's just getting himself jacked and ready to go for whenever that opportunity is going to come. But let's remind everybody again. This is February 5th, 2019. We were introduced to this beautiful man. So not that long ago, but when I give you the number. That's right, everybody. Eric Bugenhagen. Ladies and gentlemen, our new segment is how many days has it been since Eric Bugenhagen made his debut? Mike, it has been 618 days since Bugenhagen's debut.
He's been on the show for 600 fucking days? What?
I just don't understand.
What do you gotta do?
I don't understand what's going on. It feels like it's been an eternity, really.
I don't know how his pants stay on with all the brass rings he's been putting in his pockets. There's so many brass rings in there. If you hit him, it'd be like Sonic. Yeah, he's so entertaining.
I don't understand what we missed. What do we not get when this guy comes out there and basically just plays an air guitar and everybody's screaming for more? And
an unprecedented move. He got a fucking encore.
A literal
encore. What more do you want?
First time ever in pro wrestling history.
The Undertaker doesn't get an encore. The Undertaker.
Count will continue until we can get the attention of Triple H, NXT, Shawn Michaels, and Mr. Bugenhagen himself. We hope that maybe he'll join the podcast one day, because we are the 2 biggest fans of Eric Bugenhagen, who's, I think, as recent as we've seen, he's the Boog, and he goes by the Boog Cruise, the Booge Cruise. So it's just, get this guy back on my TV. I don't care. Yes. He was obviously doing everything he could to be a fan while these shows were being taped in the Performance Center. Bring back Bugenhagen. All right, yes. Mike, this segment will be ongoing until we see him back on my TV. You know what?
If we can't get Bugenhagen to do an interview on this show, that's okay. He's an amazing talent. He's got a lot he's working on. He's shredding. He's shredded. He's shredding on the guitar. He's working on his wrestling. He's a busy man, but we're getting Triple H on the horn to explain himself, because this is an embarrassment to wrestling.
618 days.
He should be a 5-time champ by now, Daddy. He's having some hard times, Daddy. I don't know what's going on when Eric Bugenhagen gets his name chopped in half and a man can't be on TV in 600 days. We're going to cut a promo on Triple H. Exactly. Well put, Chris. But, Matt, an episode of the Brothers of Discussion, we would be remiss if we didn't get into the Wednesday Night Wars.
Oh, I timed that fucking perfectly. Woo! Oh, right when you said it, it came shooting up. I'm glad. I hope our mics weren't muted when that happened.
They certainly were. Matt, so every week what we do is the top 3 good moments, and then there's usually a dishonorable mention that we'll reveal right before moment number 1 of each show. Now, Matt, this week I had AEW Dynamite. I had the anniversary show. It was literally bell-to-bell championship matches. And Matt, you had NXT. Did at a cursory look, did NXT compete this week?
I mean, so I had both. Everybody saw it. I had both shows running. I just don't know how you compete with. You've got a Cody Rhodes and Orange Cassidy, and then you've got that main event that even with the ending. You could have just ended it with Eddie Kingston. It could have been a Moxley promo and Eddie Kingston coming out there. That would have been a great ending to the show. But you did a Murder Hawk Moxley match. AEW is absolutely the winner this week. And, it's really sad that the ratings, again, taking dips. There was no debate going on. There's a debate going on, or there's town halls going on as we speak, which I'm very happy to know that I'm missing right now. Jesus. But,
no basketball this week. There's no hockey, less excuse. Yep. Well,
I mean, who gives a fuck about baseball?
I don't know. I know we're losing grandfathers by the day, so I got to think we're running out of baseball fans at some point. But Matt, I think that takes us right into the list here with NXT gets the bat lead off again. They lose again. Matt, moment number 3 from Next Extra Time Wrestling, whatever that acronym is.
All right, I'm gonna go with celebrating Killian Dane and Drake Maverick again.
Oh yeah, baby!
This is something. Or you know what I should do? Can I while I'm doing this, I'm gonna make a banner that says number 3, and we're gonna add that, and we're gonna put it on there. Number 3. See that at the bottom corner? All right, number 3. I gotta make 2 more of those. All right, number 3 is again. Killian Dane and Drake Maverick go down to Imperium, but they get attacked at the end of the match. And one of my absolute favorite things that's been said on NXT, and I think it's actually been said before with different opponents, but Killian Dane coming to pick up his buddy Drake and saying, "Only I get to hit Drake." But it's such. The story they're telling with this is why it's my number 3. I think there was some fantastic wrestling this week, and I'm kind of going up and down the list right now. And what's really going to, I think, be hurt by me picking this as my number 3 is going to be the opening match, which is Roddy Strong, Fish against Oni and Larkin and Danny and Birch for a number 1 contender shot against Breezango.
I know we made that up, but it still gives me a popski every time I hear it.
Absolutely. And they will never join the show. And that match really was, you could make the argument was one of the better matches the whole night. And I really did enjoy it. But nothing melts my heart more than seeing these two interact in Killian Dane and Drake Maverick, because they're really making an amazing, they're building such a great storyline here that you can't wait for the moment where Killian Dane doesn't, he takes away that comment of only I can hurt Drake. It's going to turn into, this is my little buddy. This is so many buddy cop movies that we've seen, but it's so, I don't know what it is, like getting to see it on the pro wrestling stage, and it is a stage, makes it feel like I feel more connected. It's more genuine than I would feel in a movie, in a buddy cop movie. Like it feels like we're actually watching two human beings grow to love each other. Even though if we saw Killian Dane and Drake Maverick interacting behind the scenes, I'm sure that they just absolutely love each other. They're an absolute joy, and they probably love seeing each other first thing in the morning. And here Andre's right there with me. He's really enjoying it. I think those two are winning next year's Dusty Rhodes Classic tournament. Oh, fuck. Andre, great call there, my man.
Yep.
But I could watch these two grow for, 30 minutes a week on a WWE Network show. Give me that. I need their own show where they're trying to figure out how to put a toilet together. Because... doing their own plumbing or putting a deck together, because those two, it's not even like comedy gold. It's really just beautiful to watch. And I'll move on. Mike, you're number 3.
There's a lot of solid contenders for number 3. Like FTR and the Best Friends. A Stone Cold Classic where we'll call it. It was a good match. It was a nice match, but not quite the top 3 criteria that we're looking for. Kip Sabian and Miro, it was all Miro really selling the promo work, so they don't quite make the cut this week. Matt, Homer number 3, not quite a wrestling match, but it is MJF saying that he kind of, sort of, maybe hypothetically in an alternate universe might want to join the Inner Circle, and
Yep.
Chris Jericho saying, well, are you certainly sure that you maybe sort of kind of want to join the Inner Circle? And I think the reason that this segment made the top 3 is because of the hilarious G-rated Rowan Atkinson level joke that MJF played on Sammy Guevara, giving him a jacket with sleeves that were too long. Literally sold the whole segment. And then, in typical All Elite Wrestling fashion, Matt, what we harp on for this show, one of its strengths is the way it makes you want to watch what happens next week. And MJF and Jericho said that they want to have a discussion. They want to have a meal together. They're going to have a steak together next week, a steak debonair. And they sold it like it was going to be an all-time, WrestleMania, match. That kind of enthusiasm for a meeting of the minds at the dinner table with a candlelight and probably 2 big meaty pieces of meat. So bravo to these guys for getting over really a nothing segment with no wrestling involved, and the teaser for next week also no wrestling involved. Just really good back and forth banter between 2 of the best on the microphone. Give me more of that all day, every day. That's my moment number 3. Matt, moment number 2 for never exert territorially wrestling. NXT. Matt, what do you got for us?
I'm gonna go with Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory. And again, this is
Austin Theory made the list?
Wow. Oh yeah. This was a great match.
Let's hear this argument, Matt. What do you got for us?
Well, I really enjoyed this, and I do like the idea that Theory does keep losing. But it does make it more intriguing for like, when is this going to turn around, or what the hell's going on? Why do they put him with Johnny Gargano to have him put on maybe one of the best matches since being a WWE product? Definitely better than anything on Monday Night Raw, better than anything on NXT's done so far. But this to me was probably the highlight for him so far in his WWE career. But this is also going to push, what's going on with the North American title for Gargano, and we saw that at the end of the night. That we'll talk about in a second. I guess I'm teasing that already. But I can't get away. I can't get away from how great Johnny Gargano is doing now, as he's transitioning from being like the main event guy on this NXT brand to now like instantly becoming like the mentor and handing out like career matches now on NXT. And putting it at number 2 means I'm honoring that. I want everybody to recognize, like, we gave Johnny Gargano a hard time when he was just main event week after week after week after week. But like, it can't be ignored. Like we have to start recognizing, like, oh shit, Johnny Gargano is doing the job. He's doing the job of a pro wrestler, right? Like,
right.
He's giving it all back. Now, he got the win, so it's a little bit different. But like, all that needed to happen with this is Gargano getting the win, and Austin Theory could have gone down just as easily as he has every other week. The thing is, that makes this really intriguing is just what's going to happen next with Theory. I think it really could turn into like a deep spiral, or they're just going to miss the mark. And with a guy who just showed us that he can put on a pretty good wrestling match, they might just let it fade away.
Amen.
All right. Well, wait. I've got 2 comments here.
Oh, what do you
got? Amy throws out there, and I think we missed this. This should have been up there a little bit earlier. I never wanted to see Tony Schiavone getting a massage or getting waxed again.
Hey, Amy, it wasn't that bad. We got a cameo of Britt Baker's foot, huh? Some people are into that. Woo! Yeah.
And Andre gave this the Comedy Gold signature stamp of Sammy Guevara getting that jacket. It's too big. I think that can't be said enough, like how exciting it is to see what happens with Sammy and MJF.
Yeah. We got to keep it professional, but every time I think about Sammy just hanging his arms down with those long, ridiculous elephant trunk sleeves on the ground, it just brings a smile to my face. So I'm glad I wasn't the only one. But Amy, come on. New Tony Schiavone for a Britt Baker foot? Huh? Come on.
Well, while you're transitioning into your number 2, Andre threw out there, we didn't need that. I thought AEW was about giving the fans what they want. Who wanted to see Tony get waxed?
It's a fair trade-off, Andre. Come on. Get on board the foot wagon. Here we go.
Jesus.
So, moment number 2 here for AEW. And it just barely missed being number 1. It's Orange Cassidy and Cody. Like we kind of alluded to it earlier. Obviously, it was going to make the list because it's Cody. He's been one of the better wrestlers on earth. And incredibly, when he's fighting Cassidy, we talk about this sometimes with like we had a good example where it was like Omega and Hangman versus, I want to say, Private Party. And they're slightly bigger, so they wrestled a different style. They wrestled like they were the big beefcakes beating up the speedy guys, so they kind of slowed it down a little bit. Cody legit knew how to pull that off. He knew how to kind of, use a little bit more of the power moves and let Cassidy kind of lead into the speed because he's, got the advantage over him. But I think that there was a couple times when, Cassidy definitely had you thinking, well, maybe they are going to let this title change hands. But not quite in the books. This did end in a tie, but just a few little, storytelling nuggets there for you. Again, items we alluded to earlier in the show where, we just wanted to see Cassidy. As much as we love his commitment to the character, we do want to see him wrestle. We do want to see him succeed and actually start, padding that win-loss record. And to see him lock up and, start to take the wrestling a little bit more seriously was good. I think the one thing that I would add to his repertoire, I would just get him in a, in a booth with Jon Moxley and, listen how John, I don't want to call it strong style. I'm going to call it Mox style, where they literally just beat the spit out of each other. And you can hear the violence coming through on the speakers on the camera of the guys at ringside, because it definitely doesn't sound like Moxley takes any nights off when he's in that ring. It never sounds like he's taking a match off where he's like, we got a big pay-per-view coming up. Don't hit me too hard. We got our big money match coming up. It sounds like he's ready for a death match, like in a bingo hall, in the middle of nowhere in Iowa every single night he performs. So I think if Cassidy could just kind of, figure that portion out just a little bit, just to, add that extra layer of the wrestling tiramisu that is the Orange Cassidy, I think he could really be a complete package. So they put on a really, really strong match. Again, in AEW fashion, kind of setting the stage for what's to come in a week, what's to come in 2 weeks, because they are going to fight again. But yeah, just not quite number 1 material this week. But Matt, before we get into the number 1s, especially for NXT, because you're next, we have a dishonorable mention on the plate. Matt.
All right, so dishonorable mention for NXT. Ember Moon cuts another promo. That's fine. That's not my dishonorable mention. We need to keep her on the radar. What the fuck are we doing watching Jake Atlas and Adonis? I don't need that shit. I don't even know how to dissect this. It was such a waste of time. It was such a let's fill the segment. It was almost like we don't trust Ember Moon to tell a new story. So let's have this match ready to go. No, trust Ember Moon to tell a great story and get this bullshit out of the way, or at least give these guys some time to tell a real story in the ring. All right. Number 1, though, Mike. That camera guy.
I have a feeling who's going to be up there, but I'll let you say.
That camera guy who got Tony Storm's booty. Oh, Lord.
Wait, are we letting Andre do the top 3? What's going on over here? What's going on?
No. Number 1 is definitely Dexter Lumis's shot at the North American Championship. And I get to cheat here because you could have picked Candice LeRae and Shotzi being in my top 3, but you get that amazing, overly dramatic end of the show so this entire segment is wrapped with this match. You've got Cameron Grimes coming in and ruining Dexter Lumis's shot. So this is really that Dexter Lumis could win this. He could be your North American champion right now, where we're going to give Priest a shot. And Lumis now is going to fight one of the better heels in the business right now in Cameron Grimes. That is going to be fun all on its own. But then you've got Johnny Gargano crashing right after that, taking out Damian Priest, and probably going to put on another hell of a show at Halloween Havoc to make Priest look even better. But it's all leading up to that big announcement that goddamn, Shotzi just fucking nailed it. Like for everything that Halloween Havoc needs to be, this gave me all the confidence in the world that it could be hokey and campy and everything we need from it for it to really be Halloween Havoc. With this delivery where she said they're bringing back the spin the wheel, make a deal portion of Halloween Havoc. And, they're really selling the fear. I'm a little worried because the wheel is just going to be a computer generated thing. And I would have liked like an actual wheel where they had to spin it.
Oh, no.
Like right there. So they're just going to pick something. Which is
who does? Come on! Like when you go to Vegas, who actually picks the video monitor blackjack table? That's like the most fixed crap ever.
This guy, and I make money
just throw your money in a toilet.
I'm too scared to play blackjack with people. I'm a baby. All right. I do my daughter. I do an impression of my daughter whenever I go to Vegas. But I lost my point. But everything wrapped into this, like, I don't know how it couldn't be number one for NXT because there's so much going on with it. Again, shout out that tag match to start the night was amazing. Shotzi and Candice was great. But I'm pretty confident in my heart of hearts how I felt about the entire night. Mike, your dishonorable mention. We're calling it the hashtag WMW dishonorable mentions.
Oof. Well, it was a pretty easy one this week. It was the so-called championship match for the women's belt. Hikaru Shida and Big Swole.
Hikaru. Sorry.
I mean, thanks, Excalibur. I'm gonna do the JR pronunciation. Well, Hikaru Shida and Big Swole out there, wrestling, and we're live, buddy, and it quickly devolves into Boomhauer from King of the Hill. Hey man, a big old Hikaru Shida, man, she's beating up that Big Swole, man. Big old dang match, man. A lot sucked about this match. There's no storyline. They were just fighting because it was Big Swole's turn. All right, you can have a turn. Go on, get in there and get beat up. And then we'll show Nyla Rose make a frowny face about 10 minutes in. Oh, she's sore about something. I don't know what, but the commentary was kind of mailing it in. JR's like, well, it's a couple of young up-and-comers, and, we go, the women are wrestling now. And Tony Schiavone tried to swoop in and be like, well, hell of a division here. Shut the fuck up, JR, and let's watch a championship match. But Schiavone did all he could. He couldn't quite shut JR up. And then it didn't help that the two women did not have a lot of chemistry. And you know what? It's probably because it was one of the first times they fought. Sure, they've probably fought on the indie scene. I'm sure they've practiced it. But you know what? Maybe if we could brew a story together and we could kind of get some spots together, instead of just haphazardly having them have a fracas here on the anniversary show.
Why don't you tune into YouTube and watch
you want women's wrestling? You turn on heels.
Yeah. You don't understand.
Well,
give us YouTube views, then you'll understand.
Matt, one spot where they didn't have any trouble building up story was the main event. Jon Moxley and the Murder Hawk, who, by God in heaven, he came out like our dear friend with the Stormtrooper helmet, Matt.
Shockmaster.
That's right. He came out like the Shockmaster. He had little spiky points on his helmet, and he threw somebody through glass. My God. Was he Stone Cold Steve Austin? I don't know, but it was incredible.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
He didn't end up winning, and that's okay. He still looked tough. He just lost on a roll-up. He still got to pummel John, make him bleed. And then we got another, Matt, I know, what do you call those chef's kisses? Mwah. We got another chef's kiss promo from Mr. Kingston himself, who came out and said, let's give the champ a big head. Let's hold his head. Look at the champ. And then, even John was kind of giving him that, wounded, kind of spinning in circles, Mortal Kombat look, a few too many at the old watering hole. And lo and behold, Eddie Kingston turned on him and pummeled him with his friends who are going to be in a tournament to decide the next number one contender for Moxley's belt. But it's just a drum that we just keep beating. I love segments that are fun day of, and they give me something to look forward to in the future. Eddie Kingston is a freaking star, and I'm so dumb that I can't make enough time in my brain or my life to watch all the old Eddie Kingston spots and matches and promos. So I'm just leaning on what AEW gives me on a week-to-week basis. And he looks like a star next to Moxley. So I'm just pumped that we're going to get more segments like this. We're going to get more Moxley feuding and bumping heads with this guy. I'm just excited for this program. Every Wednesday, it's my favorite 2 hours of wrestling, and I'm really glad that AEW has completed a year, and based on the resume, based on what they've presented for us so far, I think there's going to be many more years to come.
Yeah, just kind of commit to that whole we're going to get viewers because we're going to say wrestling's for everybody, and then we don't follow through. Like follow through.
Follow through, damn it. Matt, does that put a bow in this week's episode?
Absolutely. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Quick reminder, head on over to bodpodcast.com. Check out that beautiful new, let me see if I can pull it up in a timely manner, shops page. Can you see that, Mike?
Oh, yeah.
You've got I Listen to the Brothers of Discussion tee. You've got Sister of Discussion. You've got some masks here, the beautiful logo. You've got some tight-looking sweatshirts. You've got your coffee mug. Also, if you're a Red Wings Rant listener and you want to join us Sunday mornings, well, you can drink out of this while we're drinking out of ours. So a ton of cool stuff happening there. Can't end an episode now without mentioning that. That is bodpodcast.com. Click the shop button on the homepage, and you'll be taken there, and you can get all your friends their favorite podcast logo wear. All right. But also, find us on Apple Podcasts. Please subscribe, rate, and review. It does such a great service to us in regards to hopping up the rankings for all of wrestling podcasts. Find the blogs at bodpodcast.com. Find us on Twitter at BOD Podcast. Find the YouTube channel. Please subscribe if you have the time for Brothers of Discussion. And find us on Facebook as Brothers of Discussion.
Before we go, hats off to Amy Dalton, who posted the Urban Dictionary definition of a blind unicorn. Bless you, you beautiful woman, you. Oh, my God. Man, I can't wait for you to read it. The only other thing God, woo, what a definition. There's just a couple people I was going to try and shout out this week. And, of course, my internet service is collapsing. Yay! Like a dying star. Oh, no. Much like the maligned entrance music of our beloved Keith Lee. Ruben Munoz has been doing really good work. Brandon West, of course. Rachel Annan doing a really good job. I know she's really pumped about the SmackDown draft, so I just want to shout her out real quick. Usual cast. Amy, Andre, you know who you are. Chris, you had a little bit of a hiatus this week. Where are you at, man? There's tons of others. I'm gonna get you, but you got to get some more posts out there. But mostly Rachel, she's one of the newer big contributors, so I do want to thank her for taking time out of her week to post on Brothers of Discussion. Thank you, Rachel.
I guess, Mike, do we have any announcements about hiring? No?
Not yet. We'll get there.
There's a tease, everybody. All right, cool.
Paul Caruso. There's my other buddy. Thank you, Paul.
All right, thanks for tuning in, everybody. We're going to wrap up here with our beautiful little exit theme with our video. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. Have a good one, everybody.